Hi everybody and welcome back to KR Stock Portfolio. This is just a very quick update to say that Revolut has now added basic financial information to their stock app. So if you just have a quick look, I'm just going to use IBM as an example. IBM announced their latest Q4 2020 and full year results. So you can see now within the stock, you can see there's this little tab financials. So if we just click on that, you can see that we now have an income statement in graph form. We now have a balance sheet. We also have cash flow. So there's three areas. As I said, it's in graph format. My initial thoughts are it's pretty basic. So if you just look at the income statement first, you can see we have the option to choose annual or quarterly. So I just choose quarterly there. You can see the graph quite quickly refreshes. So if we just look at the quarterly stats, you can see in the bottom left hand corner you've got revenue and net income. So if I click on Q3 2020, you can see the revenue 7.5 billion, net income 1.6 billion. If I click on Q2, that refreshes, as does the profit margin. So in Q2, revenue was 18.1, net income 1.3, and you can see revenue's come down in Q3, but income's gone up. I would comment it's quite difficult to sort of gauge. If you're just looking at Q2, Q3, it's quite hard on the eye to gauge the differences. So it's good that that refreshes. And you can see the profit margin has gone from 7.51 in Q3 to 9.67 in Q3. So, you know, it's quite basic, quite high level, but we can do some quick analysis. Let's just have a look at the balance sheet. So the same idea, you've got the annual, quarterly option, and you've got total assets and total liabilities. So I would say this is very, very basic. We can't look at long-term liabilities. We can't look at current liabilities. We don't have any information around current ratios, quick ratios, those sorts of metrics, which are quite useful. So this is really high-level stuff. Cash flow. Again, we can look at quarterly and we can look at annual. This is broken down into financing, investing and operating. So again, a very high level view. This is basic stuff. It's a step in the right direction, but I would say there's a glaring omission of basic financial metrics. Would like to be able to see a lot more of the management effectiveness type metrics, the balance sheet metrics, the profit margin metrics. This is really, really high level and basic stuff. I am going to try and keep an eye. As I mentioned, IBM announced their Q4 2020 results. So obviously they're not in there as it was just yesterday, so very hot off the press. So I'm going to be really interested to see how long does it take Revolut to pull in the new metrics for IBM. So that's it. It's a step in the right direction, but as ever with these updates by Revolut, it's not quite delivering the goods. It's a bit too simplistic, it's a bit too basic, and it's certainly not in the realms of trading 2-on-2. Well, I hope that's been useful. Love to hear your comments. What do you think about this new development? I'd love to hear from you, and as ever, if you've got any questions, leave them down in the comments below, and I'll speak to you again soon.